Hello, everyone. Welcome to another MGG Live. Whether you're watching on my channel, Mike's Gaming Gala, or on the Retro Bliss Gaming channel, I could see the chat for both. You're welcome. We've got a great show planned today. We are going to be talking about the Intellivision Homebrew Scene. So, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I made a video on your complete guide to the Intellivision Homebrew Community. And that was as a response to something from Super Mega Graphics 64, Cyrus, who had just made a comment about how the Intellivision homebrew scene, he really wanted to get into it, but it was confusing and he didn't know where to go and stuff like that. So I figured it'd be a great video for that. And recently, with the introduction of the Intellivision Sprint, there's been a lot of new developments in the Intellivision scene. I thought we could revisit this, not least of which because I have got a couple comments recently on that video saying, you know, all this time later and nothing's changed. So we're going to talk about what has changed. We're going to talk about what we'd like to see continuing to change, what the challenges might be, what are the fears of some people may be, as well as, you know, just everything about the Intellivision homebrew scene. And I'm not going to be doing it alone. So I've got two guests with me tonight. Number one is the impetus of that first video, and it is Cyrus Martin.
I am the impetus.
He is the impetus. And of course, oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say I need a t-shirt with my face. I'm the impetus.
I am the impetus. There you go. You got a lot of shirts with faces that you can do right now.
I'm workshopping these ideas, so feedback's appreciated.
I'm sure we'll get more through the show. And next, of course, we're talking about Intellivision Homebrew, and you cannot talk about Intellivision Homebrew without the host of the best Intellivision show on YouTube. I said it here. It is Corey, the Intellivision fella, or the television fella.
The television fella, that's right.
I had my name as Corey until right before we went live.
Yes.
I just
you'll forever be Corey to me.
That'll teach you for leaving a comment. Now you're on a show.
Yeah. Oh, Cyrus is a local celebrity here. We love Cyrus.
He has always been there.
He's always been there.
Well, that sounds ominous. I've always been there. Like what?
One of the OGs.
Before we get talking, why don't we say hello to the chat? We've got Jesse, Ivory Tower Collections. He was indeed first, from what I can see. We've got Trichome. We've got Pierre Garreau. We've got PJ Smith. Chris Walker's here. I don't know who this guy is, but he says yo. Let's see. Chris Walker says, Happy Insurrection Day. It's the day that it's okay to poop in the Capitol. Okay. I'm not going to ask. We've got Bart, Off Grid Arcade. Trichome says he has to jump in the shower and he's taking us all with him.
Oh.
That's
my.
kinky. I like it.
Send him a link.
Yeah, send him a link. We've got Torque here. We've got Cannabis Kid. We've got Operation Shutdown, Savitor. Hey, we even have Retro Bliss Gaming, who isn't on this week, obviously. But next week, we're going to be interviewing John Champeau from Champ Games. So you won't want to miss that one. It's going to be a really good one.
Champ Games, one of the best.
Champ Games, one of the best. And you know what? He'll come up more when we're talking. I have a feeling. We've got Crypto Coffee. DeAndre77 is here. And now for Casey the Impotent. I knew I was going to make... Cyrus is the impetus. Casey is the impotent. I was going to make a similar joke, but Mr. Postal, I thought better of it.
You can count on him.
This isn't hanging out with Poe and Off Grid. I can't be super dirty on my own show, but Mr. Postal can be dirty here. Let's see. People saying stuff. I've got Geek Story and Nick's here. He says, oh dear, Mike has his hands full with this panel tonight. Maybe. Break out your autograph books. Finally, a family-friendly stream. This one is generally pretty family-friendly. Generally, we got
We have
Brian.
to be.
People saying no one was charged with insurrection. All right, we're gonna keep that stuff out of the chat. Trichome was tempted.
Don't threaten me with a good time. And no,
That's right. All right. So, gentlemen, I'm going to start with you, Cyrus.
Oh,
As the impetus of that original video, it's been, like I said, 1.5 years, 2 years since I dropped that video.
wow.
Yeah, I know. It was the start of 2024.
Crazy.
Yeah. So what are your views on it? Is it still as confusing as it once was? Is it like as a person who now, like, obviously you've played Intellivision on your, I mean, you're no stranger to Intellivision.
No, I'm not.
But well, yes, we're not going to go down that road at all.
All right.
You're no stranger to OG Intellivision.
Right.
What has anything changed? Have you found it more approachable? Have you, like, what are your thoughts on the Intellivision Homebrew Scene?
It's been a very interesting time period, especially this past, couple 3 months. The sprint has had a profound impact, I think, on pretty much everybody's idea of what it means to have an Intellivision homebrew scene. There's been a lot of rethinking of what can be done and how it should be done, and discussions about possibilities of things that never were possible before. So it's interesting. I think that from what I've personally witnessed, things have become a lot more accessible, and it seems to me, just from what, maybe it's hard to tell because we have our bubble, and I don't know how big the bubble really is, but I feel like it's gotten bigger, and I feel like it's gotten better. Communication's gotten better. Attitudes, I think, have improved in every respect, whether it be developers, publishers, gamers. Obviously with this new hardware that makes, and with what the hardware is capable of doing, it just makes things so much more interesting.
I think it makes it more approachable than it was.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there's a potential that it could have been a lot more confusing. It really could have gone sideways really easily.
It
because,
still could.
Right. When it was announced that the Sprint did not have a cartridge slot, I mean, everybody had some kind of a reaction to that, whether it be positive, negative, or just confusion, because there was that whole issue about cartridges maybe running some other way, or there were going to be an adapter for it, or like
they definitely wrote on their thing. They had written that it would be compatible with a dongle. It would be compatible with your Intellivision 2 controllers, but they wrote with your Intellivision 2. So people were like, I could plug my Intellivision 2 into this and then put a cartridge in. No, that was not the case.
I personally was a little annoyed that there wasn't a cartridge slot, and it took me, once I found out that they put the right emulator and that they were going to let you sideload stuff just right off the bat, that pretty much that
made a world of difference.
Yeah, that was like, oh, okay, well, never mind, I'm cool, we're good.
Yes, yeah.
But a lot of people, this is what I want to say. I think there is a significant portion of the Intellivision community that is not happy with the fact that there's no cartridge slot, and they really want that, and they're either not talking about it as much because they feel like maybe what's the point of talking about how they feel in that regard, or I think some people might even feel a little bit browbeaten by the community who's like, guys, get on board. We're having something positive here. Can everybody just be happy? You know, that kind of thing.
It's funny you say that, because every time I did a video talking about it, it was the guys jumping in saying, this is useless if it doesn't have a cartridge slot, that felt like the browbeating. It's like, okay, this isn't for you. I get it.
Right. Okay. So you're seeing it from the opposite side of what I'm saying.
Yeah. And trust me, I wish there was a cartridge slot on it, but I have zero doubt. I've heard that they're not unfounded rumors that this holiday season you might get something closer to an Intellivision Plus with a cartridge slot.
Well, that would be awesome. But I've heard, this is the other thing, since all this has developed, if there was a cartridge slot, there's some people that said that would have been a bad thing, because there's games that would have been locked out because they wouldn't work.
A lot of JLP games dump.
Yeah. So the problem is that when you have an emulator system like the Sprint, it rips the ROM from the cartridge and plays the file.
Right.
Or when you have like the 2600 Plus, it has a cartridge dumper and it has an emulator. And the big problem with the 2600 Plus, why games won't play on it, it isn't the emulator, it's the cart dumper. Because some games will send, now with the updates, obviously 2600 Plus has gotten a lot better with that, a lot more compatible. But with Intellivision Homebrew, there's the JLP cart, and it has protection to keep you from dumping those ROMs. Now, It's not to say that can't be worked around. And obviously with JZINTV on the Sprint, Joe Zbishak, who designed the JLP cart, is working with Atari. And if anybody can bypass that, he can. I already know he knows that he can do that. So in the future, that could happen. But I think, too, with the... Like, if we go back to Off-Grid Arcade here, he said he cheered when he heard that it was ROM-based. Not everybody wants to buy cartridges. And I think we can be a little myopic in our Intellivision tight community here. And it is a pretty small community with, everybody, wants to collect the 125 and everybody wants physical versions of everything. Atari is not necessarily, like, they target the collector. They target the collector hard. But they're also trying to target the wider audience. And what better to be approachable than a system that has, like, and it drives me nuts when people call it a plug and play. It's not a plug and play. You can use it like that, but it's a lot more than that. But giving you something where... And if you look at my video on where to download Intellivision ROMs, I show you where you can buy them. I show you where you can get them for free. There's like 60 free games there with literally 10 minutes of internet sleuthing. You can have 100 games on your Sprint and have access to a lot of stuff, as opposed
and you're not talking like demos and like stuff in progress. You're talking about a lot of them are full-blown games that a lot of them even were sold once. And now they're just, and some of them aren't that, but there's a ton of them out there free that are full-fledged games.
Yeah. And I have, obviously I want a cartridge slot. A cartridge slot would be amazing. I've got a large collection, but not like, I think we just need to realize that if you are the type of person who, like Burnt Orange Arcade here, he says he's waiting for the version with a cartridge slot, which is totally fair. Or if it goes on sale, like the 7800 Plus did, that's totally fair. And I would absolutely love that. But you just kind of have to accept that not everybody's like you, and maybe this isn't for you then.
One of the big frustrations that we talked about last time that we had our conversation, at least one of my big frustrations, was that a lot of these homebrews were released on cartridges, but they had very, very small runs, and then they were never available again. And if you wanted to get them, you had to like find them on eBay for like $500 or something. Like some of these were like insane, and there was no way to get the ROM. There's still some carts that I really, really want the ROM time pilot. But there's still some ROMs that I don't have that would be really nice to have. But it's definitely that I feel like is getting better because we're seeing a lot more attention from these guys who are publishing their homebrew stuff as ROMs, and they care a lot about their ROMs now, and that didn't seem to always be the case. There actually seemed to be kind of a somewhat of a contempt for the ROM thing, and like more like you guys need to be getting the cartridges, but I guess if you want a ROM, then I'll make one available. But you're going to have to jump through this ring of fire, and that attitude seems to have changed a lot. Is what I'm saying. There seems to be, I think a lot of these guys have realized that this sprint is a resurrection of the Intellivision. It's a new opportunity for a lot of people, not just gamers, but for homebrew publishers. I mean, the fact that they used JZI and TV, I mean, that is such an opportunity, Yes. It really is.
I'll answer this really super quick. Will OG Hugo make a USB Intellivision controller, or will an adapter allow me to use the OG Hugo controller on the Sprint? The adapter that Atari is coming out with is a DB9 adapter, and that will work with your existing OG Hugo controller. But you are absolutely right. I got derailed. So the Intellivision Sprint, it's funny. JZI TV has been around for a long time. It is not an easy emulator to use. It just isn't. It's header based. You have to go and do the thing. And Michael Hayes, he's Intelab on Twitch. If you guys watch Twitch, you should check him out. But he built a front end for that. PIDEJL. There's a whole pile of letters in there. I can never get it straight. And it's great, but I do still have to manually go in and add into this config file my games and say, point to the right ROM, tell it if it's in IntelliVoice, ECS, etc. So full proper emulation for the Intellivision. This is the first time it's been easy. You can literally, like, if you don't care if you got the pretty pictures, you can literally just drag a ROM file onto USB, plug it in, and it plays.
Yeah.
And a lot, like you look at the Atari 2600 community, they've had something that easy for decades. You just open up a ROM file and play it. And this is new to Intellivision. So it's great because it opens up this kind of more approachable, hey, I can go and buy a ROM from Intellivision Collector for $15 as opposed to spend $75 on getting the physical cartridge, and then I can get a whole pile of games, and I don't have to pay for shipping. And he's got all the digital Sprint files in there. Or what? Sorry.
And you don't have to pay for Terrace for ROMs.
And you don't have to pay for Terrace for ROM. Like, there's a lot of advantages to doing it digitally. But because this is new to the Intellivision, like Atari folks have been living with this for, like I said, decades. But because this is new, Intellivision publishers, I think, are a little wary. Obviously, Intellivision Collector has been really good with selling ROMs. Electronite, as of last year, he started, most of his games are available, and he's working on the other ones. You can get a lot of great titles as ROMs. But when Intellivision Collector first started selling them, what did some assholes who thought they were heroes do? They went and they collectively bought all the Electronite games and then just posted them for free. And that's a fear. In homebrewers, and I've said this many times before, we're all pirates. Ports of games, it's piracy. We're all pirates, but pirates have a code. And no, Casey, I think the video evidence shows that you were the butt pirate.
I thought you were gonna miss that.
But pirates have a code, and you shouldn't steal from another pirate. There's guys like Electronite William. this is his full-time job. And you look at, Intellivision Revolution, it's not his full-time job, but it costs money to make these, to have these made, to commission them, to pay the programmer, to get the artwork done, and all that stuff. And I think as a core community, we have to call out people who are stealing. We have to ostracize it. We have to make a to-do of it. And if you want to get the games, don't pay for them. Go and pay for them and reassure these publishers that yes, it's okay to invest a game because we are going to pay for it. We are going to, and it's, having a ROM package for $15. I'm just saying $15, and I know there's a variety of different prices for different games, but I'm just saying $15. I think even people who are outside of the group that would normally buy the physical would be more open to buying these ROMs with the full Sprint package that they can just plug into their system. I think it'll end up benefiting, even if some of these ROMs get leaked and some jerks download them. I think there are enough people out there who realize that, if we want to keep getting games, we have to support these people and actually pay our $15. I think it'll be a net positive. They'll end up making more money. At least with the ROM packages. Now, hopefully they still release physicals as well, but there are even games that I'm like, this doesn't belong in it's a fun game, but it doesn't belong on a cartridge. It's not worth $75, but it's definitely worth $20, for instance. I think it provides a lot of opportunity.
We talked before that there are always going to be some people that are going to pirate ROMs, but the bulk of us know, like you said earlier, that if we all did that, we're not going to be getting any more new games. And the bulk of us want to support. You're talking 11 something USD for a ROM package. And like Luke, what he's doing right now, he has Intellivision files, he has Backbit working files, he has the Sprint. Then you get all the artwork, the manual and everything. And William at Electronite's doing almost the same thing. And
he's working on getting, and I will say too, here, I'm going to open a tab and share it. This is really, really exciting.
Is my mic not working?
He was being funny, like you hadn't talked in a while. That's all.
I wait for a break. I have lots of things to say, but I gotta wait for a break.
Oh, sorry. Oh, come on.
Because that stuff does happen. You never know.
Here, let me share the screen. This is something that I have been bugging William for literally, 5 years. There's an actual proper website coming.
Yeah, he's been working
on it. It is being worked on.
Awesome.
We need this. We need it.
Dude, yes. William has
automated, so whenever you purchase a ROM,
right,
William doesn't have to do all that work. You buy it, it sends it to you. It's like he'll love it, we'll love it.
My problem is I can't remember what game is made by who and where to get it, and if I need to send an email, and I forget about games. I'll see Chuck playing something, I'm like, when the hell did that come out? Like it happens to me all the time. I wanted to say something about the piracy side of things. So I'm going to admit that I've not always been, I'm kind of stupid. We'll just say that. Sometimes I've done some things that I look back on and go, what was I thinking? I'll give you an example. There's a game that came out on Steam, and it's coming out. It may be out now on other things too, but it was on Steam, and it was actually a Genesis game. It was a shoot 'em up called Eartheon, and very, very awesome shoot 'em up. Does like crazy graphics and awesome music and just a fantastic shmup. And I knew it was coming out. A friend of mine that I know sent me a ROM for it because he had bought it. And I guess there was a way you could get the ROM out of the Steam version. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I played it on my Genesis. I did a stream. didn't really think one way or the other about it. And then somebody mentioned something about like, yeah, man, this is a new game. It's just coming out and they're just now starting to get some money from it. And the other versions haven't even come out. In fact, the Genesis ROM isn't even really supposed to be available. And I was like, oh no. I was like, what have I done? So immediately I went and bought the Steam version, which I was going to buy it, but I wasn't going to buy the Steam version. I was going to buy the one that I could play on my EverDrive, which I was given. So I was like, whatever, but I bought it on Steam. And so what I'm trying to say is like, sometimes people might make a mistake and they might share something and not think about it, or they might share something with somebody who was thinking about buying something and that leads them to actually buy a version of it later. I think that when you're a small homebrew developer or publisher, you're seeing every dollar as being like super important, and you're really worried that people are going to take advantage of your product that you're trying to protect. And I get that. And I totally get that. I'm not trying to like play that down. But I will say that sometimes something will happen that you might not like, but could actually end up being a good thing for you and for other people if people find out about your game, if they learn about it and get to try it and get to see it, and it might help to get the word out about your game. Now, I'm not justifying the mistake that I made. I don't even know if I call it a mistake, the stupid thing that I did, but I am saying just because I made that mistake, don't write me off. Don't ostracize me from the community. I made a mistake.
Yeah, no. We're
right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
right. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But that's one point. The other point is for the homebrew developer and publisher, if it happens, okay, it's going to happen. As long as it's not people putting stuff up for just anybody to download on like archive.org or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying one friend shares something with another friend. That's a different situation.
It happens.
But, it does happen. And I'm not trying to hurt any, believe me, if any, you guys know, we all want more Intellivision games. We want more homebrew games. We want to support people that are working on stuff. So that's all I'm trying to say is like, sometimes things can happen that you might look down on, but we're all in the same boat here trying to do good things, and we're going to make mistakes sometimes. So
and that happens, and that's something that other homebrew communities have dealt with and kind of gotten over. And so I think the scary thing is just that it's new for Intellivision, comparatively new. The emulator's been out for a while. It's been able to play everything, but it's been a lot more difficult to get access to these ROMs in the past.
Right.
And so
some were available, and now almost all of them are.
But you look at we'll use Champ Games as an example. You go to the Champ Games website, and every single game you can buy the physical. You can buy the physical with the box and manual, or you can buy the ROM. Almost every he has no problem selling physical games at all. He sells tons of physical games. And like every time I buy a physical game, I get the ROM as well.
So I do the same thing.
It's like a convenience thing.
Package.
So he's actually upping his sales by having it available. And do some people share their ROMs? Now, here's one big difference between like Champ Games and say an Intellivision collector. John Champeau programs his own games. When he sells you a ROM, I think he puts a little code in. Like he knows if that ROM gets leaked, he'll know who bought it.
Right.
And I don't think we have that. I mean, it would be a little too labor intensive for I think a lot of other homebrewers. But
there's
at the same time,
that do have that, but not hardly any of them.
Not many. Like my ROM that I got from Ghostbusters Ultimate Edition has my name when I load it up because it was a specific thing. So if I was to share that, everybody would know who shared it. But I have no doubt, despite that, there's people out there that probably purchase a Champ Games ROM and share it with their friends and just say, "Hey, don't put this out there." He's he's lost those sales, but honestly, those people weren't going to buy in the first place.
They might buy the next game. Sometimes these things lead to, introducing people to what you do. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying, like, sometimes there is a silver lining to some of this stuff.
They're like, "Oh, I really like these games," and they start buying them.
Yeah, I mean,
so it is really one of those things where I would encourage all, like, even like you look at the Game Boy and the NES homebrew community. You don't have to set up a big website that does everything. You just make an account on itch.io, set the amount that you want for it, and point people to that. It's a it's a perfect way to go on there and download games.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to have anything to do with that. Could it get out there and be around? Yes. I think that is something that you accept with the fact that you're releasing things digitally, is that there will be piracy. But I do think that there are people out, that homebrew publishers will make more money overall with this than they were before. And don't get me wrong, nobody gets rich on homebrew, but like nobody, especially reviewing homebrew, nobody gets rich on that. But
with the homebrews, the physical form, and then adding the revenue from all the ROMs, it's gonna make it worthwhile for these guys to keep going.
Well, and to distribute a ROM package costs a lot less than distributing a full game. And I still want my physical games. There are definitely game. I definitely want my physical games. And there is still a core community for that. But I think a lot of those sales, you will also sell a digital package. You're upping your sales. Believe me,
I would be okay if we got 15 games a year or maybe 20 instead of 25, 30, something like we get sometimes, because it gets quite expensive. But
I want
my physical.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys something that might be a little sensitive to talk about.
Oh my.
So we all want to support the homebrew. We love all these games that we're getting. It's amazing, and some of that is it's original stuff. Some of it is being licensed and being released.
Thank you very much, Buzz. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you very much, Buzz. I have to mention it when somebody becomes a member.
Absolutely. Thank you, Buzz. Some of those things that get released are ports that are actually officially licensed, and the publishers of the homebrew games are paying money to get that so they can release those games and put them out there commercially. But there is, and this has been the case in most homebrew scenes, there's also some games that get released that there's a lot of love and hard work poured into, and just passion from people that are coding these things and putting these games together. But they're not supposed to be making these games because they're Nintendo assets or things like that. You know what I'm saying?
They're illegal ports.
What a concern. And I wonder, and I actually would love to talk to some people that make these games. And I want to know, are they concerned with the new attention on Intellivision stuff, with the Sprint and with the focus on digital games and stuff? Their ROMs are out there and they're being sold. They're not just being given away. And so I'm wondering what they think and what people think about this kind of stuff. Because I know that some of my friends, we've had discussions, and there's some conflicting feelings because, yeah, man, I want to see games. And I love a lot of these games that I see come out. But it is something I'm thinking about a lot lately. What do you guys think?
I have been pretty vocal in the past. I mean, I don't mind ports, especially when it's a port. Like, there are some authorized ports. Like Boulder Dash was a fully licensed port. Defender of the Crown, fully licensed port. Miner 2049er, the new Montezuma's Revenge, fully licensed ports. And then there's ports of games that honestly nobody's coming after you for. Nobody's coming after you for Pitfall 3
Obscure
and Pitfall
ports.
4. Yeah, and like even let's be honest, nobody's coming after you for Mr. Do or Phoenix. Disney and Nintendo are two companies that are notoriously litigious. There is one game that was released, and it was released, I think, like 3 years ago now for the Intellivision, that I could get a lot of clicks if I reviewed it. But I won't, because it is so absolutely blatant. It's Super Mario Brothers on the Intellivision. And like, I don't want to bring more attention to that.
Right.
Because it's just inviting scrutiny on a community from very litigious entities. Is that going to actually happen? Intellivision isn't on Nintendo's radar, but if it starts popping up all over YouTube, if it starts kind of being everywhere, they might. They've definitely slapped cease and desists on less. And like even and the funniest part to me is Dragon Warrior on the NES was ported to the Intellivision. And I remember hearing Luke say that, like, Luke is from Intellivision Collector, and Luke said, obviously Dragon Warrior was Dragon Quest in Japan, and then the whole series became Dragon Quest later. But Luke didn't know that, so he renamed the game to Dragon Quest. And so now there's Dragon Quest on the Intellivision, but that's not ducking any attention, because that's the name of the franchise now. It's super impressive. It won Game of the Year the one year, and I voted for it. But that type of thing, like when it's just a blatant, like what Champ Games does is also pirating. I mean, Tutankhamun Arcade, he doesn't have the rights to that. He doesn't have the rights to like Elevator Agent, or Elevator Action, which he named Elevator Agent. Nobody really cares about those IPs. Like nobody, and whoever owns them, like the cost to sue would be not worth it. Like you might get a cease. Like I've heard rumors. I cannot confirm this, but I've heard rumors that Albert from Atari Age used to get cease and desist and used to laugh at them and just tear them up, because it costs nothing to send a cease and desist, but to actually go through with a lawsuit to get what, like $3,000 of sales money, it's not worth it. So you try to scare them, and then. But if you're going to go and make a port, do something different with it. I am so sick and tired. Like Atari 2600 homebrewers do this better than Intellivision homebrewers. They will give you different game modes or different levels or different ways to play. And then you get a port on the Intellivision and it's just a straight ass port, nothing added. And that drives me nuts. And I know I know we're all supposed to be like, hey, this is all great. And yes, I'm happy to get games. And there's nothing wrong with these games. They're good games. But there's nothing new in them. So why do I need them on the Intellivision? Add something to it.
I personally like seeing like Super Mario Brothers or, like Dragon Quest being done, seeing what they can do and having the original game. But I don't want the market flooded with them. Ports have always been there. They're always going to be. But
yeah, of course.
I like new games too, but I like a mix. I want to play Super Mario Brothers and, oh, look at this, I'm playing Super Mario Brothers on my Intellivision, or, there's a lot of games that are like that. What I find is like a lot of things that I thought were original or obscure ports from like old computers and things that you search it up. It's like, wow, that is a game. I had no clue. I like those too, but I do like that we get some of those, but I don't want all of them to be, or the majority. I like a good mix of everything.
I agree. And there's like, There's nothing wrong. Everybody thinks I hate ports. There's nothing wrong with ports.
You just prefer original.
But it takes very little effort to change the characters, to change the name, to change the level layout a little bit. Then you've got a new game. Like Princess Letty is Bubble Bobble. It's basically Bubble Bobble, but they've changed enough in there. It's its own game. So, I mean, we're kind of getting off topic with that, with Sai's original question. But especially when it comes to like the blatant stuff, I'd like to see us move away from it. Like, or you do your thing, you duck and cover, you release a little bit, and then it's a free ROM that's around. They can't come after you for a free ROM. I will say to everybody in the chat, I know that there are a lot of questions in the chat. I am starring them. We will absolutely come back to those when it makes sense to come back to them. Probably at the end of the show, we'll go through all the questions that are in the chat. We're not ignoring it.
How do you star stuff? I've never done that.
There's a little star right here on the right.
I don't think you can do it. Or do you have to be in YouTube?
StreamYard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be a downer and like make people feel bad if they're making these games that are not licensed. It's just it's something that a lot of us think about, and we wonder, like, is that a problem? And could it be a problem that in ways that people aren't thinking? And it's just like it's one of those questions we have about like the moral side of, like, the ROM side invites a lot of questions, whether it be sharing ROMs, making ROMs that you shouldn't make. There's a lot of questions. They're worth asking, I think.
Geekstorian makes a good point, and he's probably referring to something we were talking about before. You go to Champ Games website, he's got a demo which just has like the first level of every single one of the games there that you can download, like in one big package.
The Intellivision programmers or publishers would do that, because like you said, it's like, am I going to like that game? Sometimes I look at a game and other people playing it and they say it's great, and I'm like, and then I end up getting it. I'm like, wow, I've been missing out. So like a demo, I think would sell a lot. It also would not sell some games, but I think more in the other way.
There are some games that I've got some in my collection. Mr. Turtle's one of them.
That could have been a great game, but it wasn't.
It could have been a great game. It wasn't. So Retro Bliss confirms that, yes, John Champeau personalizes each ROM. He says they should do this with Intellivision ROMs, but again, the problem is that the distributors are not the programmers. Like Brian's Man Cave, if you buy a ROM directly from him, he could personalize every single one to see if they go out. I don't think he particularly cares about that, but he could. But like William, who buys a ROM, like he commissions a game to be programmed for him, he gets the ROM and then he can make his thing. He's not able to go in there and edit each individual ROM that he sends out. So,
and you're not going to pay a programmer to do that for every person that buys it, because you're not going to be making money.
Mr. Baseman has the FBI around for his illegal copy of Porky's that he's trying to flush down the toilet. But it is a road that has been navigated by most other homebrew scenes that the Intellivision scene is now going to have to navigate. And I think looking to how they do it, I mean, you do kind of have to accept, yes, there's going to be some piracy. But overall, publishers hopefully will do better because it's more accessible to more people.
To me, that's the big thing. If you're making a lot more money, and yes, some people are pirating it, you're never going to stop it. But as long as you're selling better and you're making more money, it's just like trolls on YouTube. Ignore them. It's like, ignore the piracy, stop it when you can. But as long as you're selling more, you're getting out to a bigger audience and you're making more money and more people are liking the product and buying it, I think that's a win. Because you're never, just like you're never going to stop ports, you're never going to stop piracy. But all the people that care about the community, they're going to support. Like you said at Beth, Mike, when you said most time people that do that, especially in the small community, they were never going to buy the game to begin with.
Yeah. And yeah, like I could still, I pay for YouTube Premium, and it includes
Same.
YouTube Music, so I use that instead of like a Spotify or something like that. Um, Making it that convenient that I don't have to search and torrent my favorite music and do all that means I'm paying for a service. And I think one of the big things too is, Cyrus, one of your big complaints, and something I told William forever. And I have had people respond on some of my videos where I'm like, if you want to order this game from Electronite, email electronite@hotmail.com. People being like, this isn't 1995. This isn't like, I'm not comfortable with that. It seems
Yeah,
sketchy.
they don't want to do it.
I don't know. And also it's one of those, you email and you're like, you have to already know what you want.
Yeah.
So having a convenient online store goes a huge way.
Look, can I real quick just say, I have bought things from William through email, and he's very good at
he gets it right to you.
Yeah. I have no problems with his service or with what he's providing or the quality of his games.
It's just
or anything.
not as approachable.
It's because exactly what you said. I can't remember all the games, and I would like to just on a whim just go see something. Oh, okay, buy it and download it and have it, and not have to have an interaction, Not that I don't enjoy
we
interacting.
All know who these guys are. Look at it from the perspective of someone that's new. Oh yeah, right. I want this game. Well, what games do you have? Oh, email this person and ask. It's like, from someone outside new to the community, that does seem weird.
There's something. This is one of the reasons I don't go on Atari Age, because I don't know those people. I might know some people on Atari Age, but not from Atari Age. And if I go on there, the few times that I've been on there on the message boards, there's been times when I would go on there and I might ask a question and it would be a positive experience. But I've also had times when I went on there and I asked what I thought was a very simple question and basically got raked through the coals because I'm not wording it correctly or I'm not whatever, the
keyboard warriors.
Yeah. And I think
I don't like keyboard warriors. I don't like gatekeepers. If somebody is coming in here and they're interested in this stuff, you should embrace them.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a thing that's going to happen, but people have had bad experiences like me. I've had bad experiences and I don't want to do that. So if you can make that process streamlined where I don't have to
interact with anybody,
let me just go and buy my games.
And it's like, you go to the grocery store or Walmart or something, and they have the auto checkout. I used to hate the stupid chit chat that I'd have with a cashier. Like, don't ask me about my day. Just scan my stuff and let me go, because I'm a man. I shop like that. I understand that it's taking jobs away and stuff, but I love the automatic checkout. Like, just let me go and not have to worry about any of that stuff.
I don't work there.
Yeah. Mr. Baseman, I accidentally let something slip. If you go and look at my very first Intellivision Sprint video, you will know why you cannot find that right now, but you will be able to find it soon.
Oh, can I ask you guys a quick question? It's totally selfish and just something I personally want to know. Do you guys have Yar's Revenge for Intellivision? The ROM?
Yes.
I can't get mine to work. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it won't work on my Sprint. I think I need a different config file or something, because I don't know what happened to my config file. What do we do to fix that?
That's a Casey question.
Okay. Never mind. I derailed the show. My bad. I just was like, I have an opportunity. I'm going to ask the question. Sorry.
So your config file is missing?
I didn't have a config file. So I tried to make a config file from a different one from another game that I thought might solve it, and it didn't work. So I don't know how to get Yar's Revenge to work. I can't get it to work.
So you have the bin file, but not the config.
Yeah.
Email
Yeah,
William.
email.
He'll be able to.
You think maybe I accidentally didn't copy it over or something? Like, did it come with a config file?
Everything comes with a config file, homebrew.
Okay. I must have, for some
Or a
reason,
ROM
not
with
copied it over
both
or
of them
something.
combined.
See, this is the other problem. You buy a game, and then you don't have the original zip file. There's no place I can go to re-download my game that I bought.
Well, once you download the
Intellivision
zip
Collector.
file, you should put it somewhere where it.
well, yeah, but I
exists.
mean, I'm just saying, like every service,
A
you know, whether
backup.
it's, I'm just saying every service, whether it's Steam or Nintendo,
To have it
or,
be there forever if you need to re-download it.
that would be great. That would be really
Intellivision
great.
Collector pretty much has that. You can go in and see everything you've downloaded. If something happens, I say, hey, Luke, I somehow lost this ROM. He'll reset it, and you can download it again.
Yeah, I've had that too.
They actually went backwards, and I think William's doing the same thing. He reset all the ROM packages, so everyone that has all their games can go back on Intellivision Collector, download the new version with all the backbit files, the sprint files. Everyone can do it. All the stuff from the past. It's the right way to do it.
Awesome. Okay.
Jesse mentions here that Princess Rescue on the 2600, which was a Super Mario knockoff, is an example of Nintendo doing a C&D. So it does happen.
Oh, Poe asked about the collector. I think that's where I got it from, actually, Poe, because I had the vault. I had access to the vault because I did the Coleco thing, and you get access. You know what I'm talking about? The ROMs vault.
That game was in the Collector Vision vault.
I think maybe
it shouldn't have been. It was a
maybe
Homebrew Inc. release.
I'm in that every year, and I haven't seen it there.
Well, I don't remember. I was going by what. Never mind. I can't remember anything.
It was when they were released, there were digital packages available because I think it was a delay on the physical. I'm going to respond to this. Retro Bliss says Nintendo doesn't understand that a great Intellivision version of Super Mario Brothers could never be as good as the NES version, so they really shouldn't care about ports. It has nothing to do with how good a game is. It has everything to do with controlling how you are represented, with controlling your own IPs. And I don't think, like, pirates be pirates, but part of the pirate code is if a license holder tells you to stop, you stop. You full stop. You just stop. Because otherwise you were bringing so much more pain on the community. And I will never, ever complain about a license holder. Even somebody like there was recently, actually, I'm gonna do a little plug here for my man OG Hugo. There is this was brought up. No, I want to do, sorry, this screen. Switch to this tab. I'm going to do a plug for my man OG Hugo because he was trying to do good. He is making these nice gold Intellivision Sprint engraved USB keys, and he was called out because he had all the metadata for the games on this. This is now a empty drive. A blank drive. It's FAT32 formatted so that you don't have to format it, but it is blank. And he used to have the metadata on there. And Intellivision Revolution, which was the right, said, please don't have any metadata for Intellivision Revolution games on there. And I see both sides.
Want it on there.
Yeah, which is fine. Like if you've got and I noticed too that there was a great digital fanzine for Intellivision, and he was asked not to share something. I think it was like an overlay or metadata files. And now he's
version.
Yeah, and now he's like, well, I'm not going to do the digital fanzine because people. You should never, ever, ever, ever be upset about somebody trying to protect their property, even if it's pirate property. You shouldn't just say okay and remove it. It really isn't something worth getting worked up about, and it's going to happen. Like I said, there's going to be growing pains with this whole really accessible emulation with controllers that when I do my full review on the Sprint, we'll talk about the controllers. I'm a little upset with having to open it up and loosen the disc, but it is.
Were you
for
having
the first
problems?
time,
You having problems with your disc, Mike?
a lot of people have problems with up and down. So the solution is you open up the controller and you loosen the screws around the disc. But that should not be the case. That's a Q&A problem. Or not a Q&A, a QA problem.
Yeah, those are, and it's some people, not everyone, and those are being adjusted. There's another something in the works as well. I mean, can't really talk about it yet, but
yeah,
that's going to be adjusted and tweaked until it's perfect. I guarantee you.
So, but it just adds to, there's going to be growing pains in this. And I think that, somebody who owns the game, they might not own the license to the game, but they own the ROM. They own, like, it's their game that they distributed. Just, if they ask you nicely, don't be jerks about it. If they ask you nicely to stop doing something, stop doing it. There's going to be growing pains for everyone, and nobody should get butthurt.
Yeah, and he does a lot of fun, good content. I try to talk him, and he may still start again.
I hope so.
Like, don't take that to heart. Just like trolls, sometimes you're like, man, I'm not doing this anymore. But there are more good people than bad. You're doing fun content. Just, if some, like you said, if somebody doesn't want you to include any of their stuff, whether it's almost all new or not,
you can still make it for yourself.
Yeah, you can use it for yourself. Just don't put it out there. But he does so much good stuff. It's like he has plenty of other content to do.
Yeah. This is another endorsement for ordering from Electronite. Mr. Postoff says the whole email thing turned him off from all those games before the Sprint. He finally cracked and emailed and ordered the ROMs. He got back to him and had them within like 10, 15 minutes. So William has great customer service. I think it will be even greater once he's got a website.
When it's automated, because he's on a totally different side of the world than most of us. So, I mean, obviously you're going to be awake and asleep at different times, but if he's awake, it's quick.
Yeah. And that's what it is. To an outsider, the email.
Yeah. New people.
Seems, yeah. Some comments about Atari Age. We've talked about growing pains with digital files. We've talked about how the Sprints kind of changed and made things more accessible. We've talked about what else have we talked about? We talked about the games. I did my port rant, which is kind of expected. What else do you guys feel like? Do you feel positive moving forward? Like, I know there's at least one publisher that I get the feeling that he doesn't feel super great positive moving forward. What are your guys' feelings on the future of homebrew? I think what I would what would you like to see? I would really like to see more programmers maybe taking advantage of itch.io or their own websites or Atari Age or whatever, thinking I can make a game and make a little Sprint package for it and I could sell it for $5-10 versus, I'm not going to make a game, it would never make it to a cartridge and stuff. I think it'll give more opportunity even for programmers. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a huge opportunity for, people to play the games that were never going to be able to play these games before. I mean, we've got an emulation system that has a good controller. I mean, hopefully a good controller. It's been good for me, but it is what it is. And we've also got a team at Atari that is actually paying attention and trying to fix issues. This is not common. I mean, I have a lot of like homebrew retro like devices for things we can't get a firmware update on, like nobody will
anything like the support.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And as far as, it creates a lot of possibilities for the future. Like, homebrew games, once, what I thought would be fun, and I mentioned this kind of half serious, but it would be interesting, is if people started to put out homebrew games for Intellivision that had sprint specific enhancements or features because of the hardware, because of the emulator itself. And
there's been discussion about the Intellivision 3 added stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you're
yeah, extra memory, extra, because all these emulators, I got Commodore 64 Mini, Atari 400 Mini, all these, they have like these modes where you can expand the memory, beyond whatever it would have been for the original hardware and stuff. And then you can do some crazy stuff. And not to mention, like, there's emulators out there that have like, modes where they'll like provide like graphical enhancements and stuff through the emulator that you would never be able to get otherwise. You've seen that with this is a weird comparison, but like PlayStation or Nintendo 64 stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it would be interesting to see if there were some homebrew developers who learned some of the tricks of what the emulator is capable of, and then started to have like, oh, there's a sprint mode. If you do that, you get, whatever the enhancement is, more faster speed or whatever, So it's just interesting. It's a lot of possibilities.
I don't know that the emulator can do like the fancy games, but Tutor Vision games have a lot more capabilities, and we're playing those right already. So you will be able to make games that will be better, but they'll need to run on an emulator on the PC or the Sprint. And I'm sure it'll happen. Or just like
you'll get to a point where the vast majority of people won't be able to play their games on the original television. You'll never release a cart for it because only Tutor Visions will be able to play it, for instance.
Right.
So you could also do like some of these guys are doing. You could have a folder that's enhanced Sprint version. So you could have the regular version, and you could also have that version, just like they're doing with Backbit, having the Intellivision files, the Sprint, the regular stuff, all the artwork. You could have another folder, enhanced Sprint and emulator edition, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Especially, I would say, and let's go around and ask here before we get to some of the questions for the chat, because there's a fair amount. Is there something that you still wish the Intellivision Homebrew community did better?
I think storefronts, just the ease of being able to go to any publisher and be like, oh, there's all the games they're selling. Click, buy it, get it. I think they're all going to be getting better with the Sprint and all the ROMs being available for most of them. I know Rev has talked about that he might not be selling them. I've seen posts. I really hope that he changes his mind, because there's a lot of games I'd love to have on my Sprint from him as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's opening it up, and I think of especially for new people, like when you know it all, and all the publishers and you know where to go, it's easy. But like Cyrus, a few years ago, it's like when you're new coming in, it was not easy. And I think they need to make it easier with the websites, the stores, having, all the information up in there, and people just being able to go, I feel like buying a game, click, and boom, there it is. I think that still needs to get better overall. Although Intellivision Collector, I think he's leading the way right now with what he's doing with the storefront.
He's definitely got the best storefront.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think all of that can get better. It's hard to link it all. You got to rely on knowing bookmarks, people. Hey, where can I go get these games? There's so many smaller publishers, and then you've got the main guys. It's almost like we need someone to do a website that just, the only thing they're there for is to show you all of the different areas and links to everyone that makes games, sells them, something simple just to point everyone in the right direction. And Facebook groups do that, but posts get lost.
Yes, absolutely. Super Mega Graphics. Sorry, Cyrus, you are absolutely right here. In the config file, it'll tell the emulator, is this in ECS? Is it IntelliVoice? What features should I use? That's how they're able to do the Tutor Vision stuff as well. And we did talk about this before. Retro Bro says, why don't these devs create an itch page to follow and upload their ROMs there? It makes perfect sense.
A lot of the communities do use that.
Yeah, like the Game Boy computer, whenever anybody sent me a Game Boy ROM to review or look at, it's itch.io. Whenever anybody, a lot of NES games I'll grab on itch.io. There's absolutely nothing preventing Intellivision developers from creating, you don't need to have a website with your own storefront. Itch.io. It is a hub for digital downloads of that type. So by all means, if you are a publisher or a programmer and you want to get your stuff out there, itch.io. It's a perfect place to put it.
Don't get me wrong. I love whenever a publisher has their own website, store, and everything's done right. But
it's
for
nice.
The small guy or the people that don't want that expenditure, there's another good option that they can use.
And John, you're absolutely right. We talked about that too.
Yep.
Regardless
and
of
also the people they're going to support are going to support.
Yeah, it's and I said it before. ROMs. If people steal the ROMs, 99% they weren't going to buy it in the first place.
Yeah, maybe even higher.
Yeah, and the publisher doesn't need to make ROMs. They're limiting their possible sales. I totally agree. There are a lot of homebrews out there that people are like, oh, I really wish I could get that. And it doesn't make financial sense for that publisher to make another physical release of it. But now, let's say Mindhunter. Mindhunter was pretty good for when it came out. It's a good version of Minesweeper on the Intellivision. But it's Minesweeper. In 2026, that doesn't fly. But if you pay $5-10 for the ROM, I got Minesweeper on my Sprint now. Because it makes no sense for William to do another physical release, another run of that. He might have some leftover stuff, so he could, but if you have to order all new materials, it makes no sense. Now you can focus your physical to the games that are worth it.
And like Cyrus said, sometimes you just want to go on there and I'm going to get me a game. But if you can't find it, you can't see what's there, you can't buy it without, jumping through hoops. It's then you just don't. I do a lot of plan buys, but I also do a lot of just, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to buy that. I do that a lot too. But if you can't, you're not gonna get as much sales as when you can just go click somewhere and end up with some games in your cart and then go try them right there. I think Cyrus is right. It's you're losing all those impulse buys.
You are.
Also, I want to say, I think that this is just me thinking here, and I don't know what I'm talking about, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think there's probably a lot of opportunities for publishers and developers to make money in ways that they're not considering. And having your own website means you have control over what you offer. And if you're concerned about, people want to support you. They want to. And if you give them opportunities of ways to do that, whether it be selling them additional artwork or selling them music files or selling them various things, there's ways people will support you if you give them an opportunity to. And I think we're talking about William with his website. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of people that want to support what William's doing. And if he can put stuff up there for people to buy, they'll buy it. I get that people are concerned. I'm not talking necessarily about William here, but there are people that are concerned that they don't have control and people might steal some of their stuff or give it away or whatever. That's your guys are right. John's right. Everybody's right that's talking about this. It's going to happen. You can't do nothing about it. You should consider it the price of doing business and as advertisement for what you're doing. Because the more people that are exposed to what you do, the more likely you're going to start selling things to people.
That's at the very least the hope. And I think it is the reality in most situations. John here says, having my publisher sell my ROMs would be kind of ridiculous. I only use mine for physicals. So the Intellivision Homebrew Community, at least the way it's kind of structured now, is different. These publishers own the ROMs. So they will commission a programmer to make the game for them. So they own the right to the ROMs. An exception to that would be Intellivision Revolution. He kind of gets physical rights, like almost anything programmed by Brian's Man Cave. You would buy the digital from him on his website, but you would get the physical from Intellivision Revolution. So it's just a different way of things being set up. And
because there are other games too that you have physical and the digital rights, and they're not always bought. Just like you said, but there are other smaller versions too that they don't have the rights to the digital. So, I mean,
you look at like an Electronite or an Intellivision Collector, and they own the games that they sell. They own the ROMs for the games that they sell. But I would absolutely adore an itch playlist of Intellivision Homebrew. That'd be awesome. And that's, again, piracy is very real, but gate kept, I guess. I'm not big into gatekeeping, but I mean that's how it's set up. I don't see it as, and honestly I think it makes it more streamlined that the publisher owns the right to the ROM. Because then you don't have to go to two different places to get a ROM or a physical. Like they can do whatever they want with it, like a Champ Games. They own the ROMs of the games that they sell, and at least outside of their stuff. And OG Hugo does say that after his response to Rev's post, he reached out privately and they talked, straighten everything up. So that's great news. I don't want anybody to be butthurt in the homebrew community. We do have some questions. I will go back and I will bring up. So Tofu says, why, and this is for everybody, why do you think that Intellivision is overrepresented with homebrew even before the sprint? I don't really think it is.
What does that mean? Oh, what are you
like? I think Intellivision Homebrew punches above its weight, much in the same way that Jaguar Homebrew does. Like, it's a very strong community for not a massively popular system. And it definitely has, the Intellivision definitely has its following, but it's not like the Atari 2600 or the NES. I think it punches above its weight because of the commitment and how devoted, like, and we've seen it in multiple different ways. The Intellivision core community, they'll go from zero to cult really quick. they will. And even just like all the enthusiasm for the sprint, right? Like for any other system, it's like, this is an emulation system. It's not a big deal. And I've seen people outside the community say that. I'm like, you don't realize this is the first Intellivision based system that will play everything ROM-wide. Like it's a big deal. And I think it's just how devoted the fan base is.
Need to post up that comment from Rev.
Casey, thank you for mentioning Time Pilot. Thank you, sir.
That was for you and a lot of other people.
Thank you, sir.
This is fantastic news.
Yes.
Intellivision Revolution says, my revamped store will have complete in-box, download ROMs, and physical sprint releases. So like the USB with the physical on it.
Yeah, where you showed them on Atari Age. They're awesome. They have the box art around it. They're in like a plastic case. You've got the cartridge label on the USB stick, and then you've got the manual and the overlays inside.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic news. I'm very glad he popped in here. And he did say he's working on a master ROM list and where to go for all publishers. That would be really, really cool as well.
Yeah, that'll help everyone.
Yeah. Rev, awesome news. Now respond to me on WhatsApp.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you.
Retro Bro says, as a developer, he'd hate not having the rights, but if he was hired to make a game, I guess that's different. I know for a fact that a lot of the programmers for Intellivision have no interest in selling their own game. Like, that's the whole business side of it. They don't want to be even. They'll get their whatever X number of dollars for making a game, and then they don't have to worry about it anymore. So, yeah, and I'm very glad you are. So let's pop over to another one of the questions. OG Hugo says, so what's your opinion on the ROMs? If you have the Sprint, you have the physical game, and the only way to get it is to download it from a ROM site or an archive site, would you do it? So my personal thing is, if I have a game that was only ever released physical, and they're not selling the ROM, for my personal use, if I had the capability to do so, I might take the ROM off of it if I could, so that I could get my footage, but I would never distribute it. And then if they did release a ROM, I would go and
show that you have it.
yeah, just for the purpose, like right now, I cannot capture footage from any, like, I don't know what's going on. I can't get audio from any external source with my capture card and my PC right now. So I have to emulate to get gameplay footage for my reviews, aside from the Vectrex, which I film with a camera. So this week's review is a Vectrex game, Count Vecula. But for my personal use, yeah, I probably would. But then if later they sold a ROM, I'd probably buy the ROM, because I did do that. What about you guys?
Well, if it's one of the original old school Intellivision games, I mean,
original OG games.
Yeah,
you're not stealing any money off of anybody.
Yeah, I have a bunch of carts, but I've never thought of one way or the other about it because they're old and that ship has sailed. But no, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody. You know, maybe we try a ROM, maybe we get a ROM from a friend, maybe these things happen. But if we can, we all want to support the work people are doing. And, you know, I think that that's largely what happens. And that's the best situation you can really hope for. So, yeah.
Yeah. Casey?
I think if I own the physical, and like you, I would use it if I needed it to make footage or to do something, but I definitely wouldn't show off a ROM that I'm not supposed to have, like on my Sprint or my flash cart, and I'm on YouTube going through, you know, everyone can see that you have it. But for personal use, if I own it and I needed it a certain way or whatever, you know, I wouldn't feel bad about that. But I always support, anyone knows if it has Intellivision on it or if it's for Intellivision, I buy it. So yeah.
You buy 10 copies of it.
He used to buy 10. Now he only buys like 2.
I don't buy multiples of everything anymore. Some things, yes. But I'm a firm believer in that if you want more stuff to come out and you want to support these guys, you want to support them all fully. I'm not saying everyone needs to buy every one. Not everyone can afford that. But I'm just saying what you want to play, what you want to have, support, get it the right way, show these guys love, and they're going to keep putting out games so we can all keep enjoying them longer.
Yeah. Hugo, I have no idea if any of the OG games are public domain now. I don't think so.
I don't know. You wouldn't think, because Atari just bought all the original games that weren't like Activision and Magic, and they own all those IPs.
So no, I don't think they are. And Cannabis Kid, you are wrong. The Vectrex Mini does not have a cartridge slot. It has an SD card slot.
Oh, I was going to say, if they republish a game, whether it be on an Intellivision flashback that gets sold or an Intellivision collection that gets sold on like Xbox or something, doesn't that renew the copyright? You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're saying. I think there's something there.
Right. So
yeah,
I don't think that any of these are public domain. I think.
Yeah, and that's what Disney kept doing with Mickey Mouse, is they'd make a new little cartoon so that it would renew the, but eventually it did run out. But I mean, that was what, like 100 years.
Yeah.
So, Anthony says, I want Fido's Adventure. Is it Intellivision Revolution? I wish they had that. Really want it. Yes, it's Intellivision Revolution, and as Rev said in the chat, his games are going to be available soon. He's revamping his store. It's a really good version of Adventure. I actually quite like Fido's Adventure. It's a good game.
Yep, good game.
Nice.
Okay, so this is kind of asking the same thing. If you buy the physical and had the way to take the ROM image off for your personal use, would you do it? Again, I think we already answered this, but I would do it for the purposes of trying to get footage from it, and then probably delete the ROM because I wasn't supposed to have the ROM. But it's just staying with me, and I'm doing it for a specific purpose. I probably would, but I do not have that capability.
That's an interesting question, Mike. If you buy something, this is an interesting question because, like, it's like we were talking about Eartheon earlier. Like, if I buy the Steam version of Eartheon and I go into the files and I find the ROM file, I bought that.
Yeah.
Right? So why can I not take that and put it on my EverDrive? What's the problem?
Are there some things like, like the small print that say certain things? I don't know. I've never read it.
Well, that's a good question too, Casey. That's a good question.
Because if it says you only have the rights to do this or that, I don't know. I don't ever read any of that stuff. But
fair enough.
If it's called out, it's valid.
I mean, certainly. Let's put it this way. Honestly, yeah, I would. It's very convenient for me to have a ROM instead of a cartridge. I love my cartridges. When I play on my television, I play on my cartridges. But when I'm doing anything for the show, it's always emulated because it's just so much easier to do it emulated. So yes, I would. Where you get into trouble is distribution.
Yes, that's a different situation. That's we were talking about the old school Intellivision ROMs.
Yep.
No problem downloading them. No problem playing them on a stream. I got them. I put them on my LTO. I put them on my Sprint. Okay. But I'm not going to now take my collection and put them up on archive.org or whatever and give them definitely not going to sell them, but I'm also not going to distribute them. I'm not going to do that. That's a different ball of wax.
Defender 7800 says, does anyone use different controller options with their Sprint? What are some good options? Is there supposed to be an adapter for that? So I'll answer first, and then we can ask these guys. I currently don't, because that adapter is not out yet. When that adapter is out, you can be damn sure that I'll be using this for every game that it's applicable for. This is the OG Hugo gamepad. I love this thing. It is so good, especially for four-way games.
I've heard that that's a great controller, and
I would love
at some point to test one similar to that.
Hugo, hook them up. So this is a good option.
If he makes you pay, use the code MGG. You'll get $5 off.
How much does it cost?
Xbox 360 controllers are like $15 or under on Amazon. They work great. You just plug it in the USB port. Everything's mapped up. The only downside is you don't get to use the D-pad. If there's a way to configure that, I don't know. But yeah, that one has a D-pad only.
This is a great one to use. Yeah.
Not everyone likes the controller. I do, but it depends on the game. Sometimes I want an arcade stick. A lot of times I want the original type controller. Sometimes, especially you're going for a high score run, you want a gamepad. But there are a lot that will plug in and work right now. Once we get those adapters, all the original controllers should work, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that. It should be soon, and I'm going to be testing all the controllers.
Perfect. Sai, I checked on the OG Hugo's website. It's $65.99.
That's not bad.
It is not bad. Let me catch up with the chat before I go to our last two starred comments here.
Rev has a comment on I think it's talking about when you have the cart and go to the ROM.
Okay, so Retro Bro asks, is the homebrew library for Intellivision bigger than the original library? Yeah, it's about twice the size. The original library is 125 games. I think, just physical released games, I think we're at 200.
It's over.
So we're over 200 just physically released. But if you're talking about everything that's been programmed in the homebrew community, we're over 300 easily. Easily. Yeah, over twice as big. Intellivision there. I noticed some people in the chat, Rev, asking, "Is Time Pilot going to get a ROM release?" People really want Time Pilot. Apparently,
I desperately want Time Pilot. What do I got to do?
I think I get asked that question more than any other game from Rev. Is Time Pilot going to be available for the Sprint? I get that one almost every show.
If I run an ad on my videos and streams for your thing, will you release it? Will you, like, what do I need to do?
This episode of Super Mega Graphics 64 is brought to you by.
Yes, this and every episode is brought to you. Yes, let's get Time Pilot, please.
Yes,
let's figure this out.
Absolutely, Rev. I think distribution of ROMs is where the big problem is. What you do for, like, same with the metadata on your Sprint, right? Like, what you make for yourself is one thing.
Ooh, Mike?
What?
He answered.
Yes to Time Pilot and Galaxian. There you go.
Awesome, Rev.
Hell yeah.
That's great news. You guys were getting all excited. I wasn't that far down in the chat.
I'm sorry, dude. I saw it. I was like, I've
seen that Running Man.
John says that the devs for Eartheon are being buttheads. Yes. So that's what I do as well. It makes it really easier. I'm glad you got the right letters there. PIDEJL. Retro Bliss has a video on how to set it up. I need to make one as well. It makes it, like, for streaming and for game capture, works really well. And OG Hugo says he's working on an adapter for the Sprint as well, with some PCBs. Retro Bliss recommends the OG Hugo controllers. He also has an arcade stick for $100, if that's your thing. Mr. Posthouse says he has no problem buying the games again. He's already done that with a few Intellivision Homebrew. A must-have is Intellivision. I agree. That is a great game.
Oh, man,
again,
it's good.
It's one that you maybe don't want to advertise too much, but I think it's not a Mario level offense.
Yeah.
So that's great news.
Whatever do you mean, sir?
I'm glad I went around for that.
I don't know what he's referring to.
You could start a podcast called the Intellivision Revolution Forever.
Yeah, Sprint After Dark.
Sprint After Dark. Yes to the new Popeye, which is being worked on by Brian's Man Cave. Yeah, with ROM distribution, if there's something wrong with the game, you could always redistribute a ROM. Rev, Mr. Postal should be one of your playtesters. He's the Popeye King. And Retro Bliss has an Intellivision arcade stick from BD Retro Mods. He loves it also. BD Retro Mods is a great... I have a ColecoVision arcade stick that saved the ColecoVision for me.
Yes, definitely. I totally understand.
Oh, it's not by Brian. I thought it was by Brian.
When you said that, I was like, what?
I thought Brian had said that he was going to do it. Okay, not by Brian. My apologies. I misspoke. Let's see here. We just answered that one. And then I think this is just more of a comment. I think there's a lot of gamers out there like me who never owned an Intellivision, never really played the games or homebrew games, that don't know how good those games are. A lot of the Intellivision homebrew is like absolutely awesome. One of the reasons I started my channel was because I was getting into, like, I had been a part, like, play testing for Electronite for almost 10 years by that point. And I kind of, like, whenever I would go to Good Deal Games or something like that, I'd see a game that maybe looked interesting. I would go online on YouTube to see if there was anything showing the game or saying whether it was good or not. And you almost never could find anything. Maybe somebody filmed off their TV in the living room or something. And so that was the impetus for my for my channel was to be kind of like to let people know, is it good or not? And sometimes I've rubbed like, I assure you, Inti Home will never sell a game to me ever again. And I'm okay with that because they're garbage. I don't feel bad saying that. They're garbage. But
I love the package.
They make
what did you just say, Casey?
He loves the package.
I love a good package.
That's what I thought you said.
That's what you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
They make really pretty garbage. But we're not here to dwell on that. So, you know, shows like mine, you get a review. At shows like Casey's, you get to see the games.
Awareness.
Even if he doesn't read the manual. Yeah.
Positive awareness.
You know, so there's I am happy that there are a lot more avenues now that people are actually able to see things. So
I find it like really amazing, and we overuse the word amazing, but I do find it amazing when I see these homebrew games that are making the Intellivision do stuff that, I mean, never would I ever think would be possible, you know, and to see it, you know, it's like, wow, it's worth the money just for that, just to support people, you know, doing this crazy thing that they're doing with the Intellivision. It's really cool.
Yeah. John says, from what I've seen, modern devs have more knowledge on how to utilize the hardware compared to the 80s and 90s in the NES case. So the games are taking more advantage of the hardware. It is absolutely the same case with Intellivision. And like, seriously, go look at Champ Games. Look back on like, I've got reviews on Elevator Action, or Elevator Agent, Turbo Arcade, Tutankhamun Arcade. John Champeau makes the Atari 2600 look almost like the NES at times. It's absolutely incredible what some of these guys can do. And they are doing it. Certain ones anyway are doing it for the Intellivision as well. And yeah, so I mean, the big thing that was limiting for Intellivision and 2600 was the cost of chips. So the ROM size was a big. Do you want to read that one, Casey?
ICUP.
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna clip some stuff out of this stream, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot better than the one you had me read a few weeks back.
Oh yeah.
IMA.
Yeah. All right. So, gentlemen, do you have anything you want to say in conclusion? Do you have anything you want to plug coming up?
I'll just say, let me just real quick say thank you for having us on here, Mike. And I'm glad that we revisited this because a lot's changed and a lot is still changing. And I feel very optimistic about the future of the Intellivision homebrew scene and just the brand in general. We're compared to where things were at.
Yeah, and you know better than most.
we are the fuel is in the rocket ship, and we're
on the launch pad.
Never mind. But you know what I'm saying? Things are much better, and I'm very happy with the possibilities. I know we have our kinks to work out and weird stuff to figure out, but it's 1,000 times better than I thought it was gonna. I really was depressed about the brand. I thought this thing was done, and not just done, but like forever tarnished and scorned and to be ridiculed. And things have turned around to the point now to where there's a whole nother life that has nothing to do with the bad stuff, and it's just good stuff ahead, and I'm very happy about that.
Mr. Postile says, glad to see Cyrus and Casey on. Great dudes. Verdict's still out on MGG.
But Michelle's awesome.
How about you, Casey? You got anything?
I Are you talking about just in general, or?
Yeah, anything you want to plug, or you want to final thoughts
I
on
think
this?
the Intellivision community up until recently with the Sprint was a lot smaller group of people with a lot of love and passion for Intellivision. Um, I think the Sprint is opening that up. I see more and more people releasing videos talking about it, new people. You're going to have growing pains, but I think overall it's great. I love seeing people excited about Intellivision content and hardware. And I just love that we're here to be a part of it. I love being a part of what I'm a part of behind the scenes as well. I love having an impact on how things turn out. Um, it's a lot of work at times, but man, is it rewarding. I
Yeah.
also want to say off topic, PRGE is October 9th to 11th. If you love retro games, especially if you're an Intellivision fan, that is the best stage that you could go. At least go once. I guarantee you will not regret it. That's also where Intellivision Revolution and sometimes other publishers release the bulk of the games. You have a great Intellivision booth there. It's humongous. It's like one of the mega booths, and you're going to have publishers, programmers, all kinds of collectors and fans, and everyone's welcome. We do dinners. A lot of us are the same group of hotels. Everyone's always welcome, and
It
it's a
is a
fun
very
time.
welcome community.
Yes.
We'll talk about that, Casey, because I'm seriously considering going to that.
Yes.
That would
You
be
won't
really cool.
you won't regret it. Everyone has to do it once at least. That's
It's a
what I would.
bucket list event for sure.
Absolutely.
Once you go once, you'll want to go again.
Crypto Coffee, we actually have Keo Daikin at CES, and he's going to be reporting back to us. If he sees anything cool from Atari, we'll have him on and we'll be talking about CES for sure.
Sweet.
I imagine, yeah, PRGE, it is kind of pricey to get a booth, isn't it?
There are small booths, and it goes to the big booths are quite expensive. But I mean, if you've got a good amount of stuff to sell and you're confident that it's going to sell, a small booth is always something to do. But I mean, Intellivision Revolution will usually like you pay so much and then you can have a table of the mega booth, and it works so well because like we had the Vectrex Mini, we had Caleb,
Yep.
multiple publishers will be there, so you kind of got this nice big mega booth, Intellivision Revolution booth, and you've got all these different related booths all in one spot. So you might come because you want to see the Vectrex and you're like, oh, cool, Intellivision games, and you go there, or vice versa. Then you go down, you're like, whoa, I can have gun games on my Intellivision, and you can try that in the corner down there. And yeah. Rev's always great. He sets up play areas.
Be nice to Rev.
Every game that he's selling there, you can sit down and play it as well. It's really nice. All right, Barton Kelly.
Yeah, so we might have to pass this year, guys.
I never pass.
I will say, so Crypto Coffee, PRGE, like I said, it's a bucket list event. If you are more in the middle of the country, Midwest Gaming Classic is almost as good. But PRGE
just not is the Intellivision presence.
Yeah, just not the Intellivision community. But I would highly recommend getting to PRGE once. It's worth the effort, especially if you're into second gen stuff, because I find it's the best convention for second gen stuff.
And like I said, if you're an Intellivision fan, it is the number one place in the world to go as an Intellivision fan, bar none.
So, guys, thank you very much for being on. This is a great conversation. We could have gone another hour and a half, I'm sure, but at some point I've got a review to make. So next week on So today is actually my 3rd year anniversary from when I started my channel.
Saturday. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. This Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm going to see if maybe I could do a giveaway, but we'll celebrate during my normal game stream. That's 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. At 8 p.m. next Tuesday, we're doing a Retro Bliss Rewind. John Champeau will be on from Champ Games. We'll be talking about the Champ Games Presents and everything that he's done recently and doing in the future. It is absolutely a show you won't want to miss. And Mr. Postal says, I won't ever be there. You have to go once. You have to go
You
once.
need to go once, Poe.
But I would like to get down to a convention near Poe so I can hang out with Poe, because I've never met Poe in person.
What's the big one that's right there? I'm the name's going blank in my head.
For him?
Yeah, where Phil and him and other guys go.
Yeah, it's
It's not. Is it Korgs?
No, that's in Ohio. Korgs and Korgs is in Ohio. He's down near, is it Philadelphia or Pittsburgh? I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's one there that
Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Gaming Expo.
I think I'm thinking of Korgs.
Yeah, I need to go to that one too. I have friends in that region as well, and it'd be cool to see Poe. Yeah.
So, guys, thank you once again for being on. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you next time on either MGG Live or Retro Blitz Rewind. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.